बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम अस्सलाम वालेकुम। वेलकम टू लॉ एंड लीगल सर्विसेज। आज मैं रिवीजन लेक्चर आज से स्टार्ट कर रही हूँ और इसमें सबसे पहले मैंने पीपीसी को सिलेक्ट किया और इसको रिवाइज़ करने के लिए या किसी भी लॉ को रिवाइज़ करने के लिए बेहतरीन तरीका ये होता है कि आप कंटेंट्स को पढ़ें और कंटेंट्स को बार बार पढ़ें और जितनी दफ़ा हो सकें तो वो पढ़ें। इससे जो है वो आपको सेक्शन भी याद हो जाएंगे और आपको ये भी इवेल्यूएशन भी हो जाएगी, मतलब आपको पता चलेगा कि आपको कितने सेक्शंस का कॉन्सेप्ट भी याद है और कितने का नहीं याद, तो फिर आप उनको मतलब मज़ीद फर्दर पढ़ लें। तो फ़िलहाल मैं सिर्फ कंटेंट्स पे फोकस करूँगी और उसके बाद जो मेरे डिटेल्स लेक्चर हैं वो आपको मेरे चैनल की प्लेलिस्ट में मिल जाएंगे। लेकिन आज से मैं रिवीजन क्लास स्टार्ट कर रही हूँ, तो रिवीजन में सिर्फ और सिर्फ कंटेंट्स। तो जी सबसे पहले चैप्टर 1 है। अच्छा, इसको याद करने का एक बेहतरीन तरीका ये होता है ख़ासतौर पर पीपीसी को, कि आपको पीपीसी के चैप्टर वाइज याद कर लें। मतलब पहले चैप्टर में सेक्शन 1 से 5 तक है, फिर सेक्शन दूसरे चैप्टर में 2 से 52A तक है। इस तरह ये होगा कि आपको पेपर में रेलिवेंट प्रोविजन याद करने की अगर ज़रूरत पड़े तो आपको आइडिया हो जाएगा। इसी तरह जो लोग वन पेपर MCQ की तैयारी करते हैं उनके लिए तो ये बेस्ट ऑप्शन है कि आप सिर्फ चैप्टर याद कर लें और फिर उस चैप्टर का नेम, उसका कॉन्सेप्ट और उसके टोटल सेक्शन याद करने। तो ये आप एक पेज पर अगर लिख के याद करेंगे तो आपको इजीली याद रह जाएगा। तो चलें जी शुरू करते हैं। सबसे पहले हर लॉ में जैसे कि प्रियम्बल आती है, लेकिन जो कोर्ट फीस एक्ट है आपका उसमें प्रियम्बल नहीं है। सेक्शन 1 है जिसका टाइटल एंड एक्सटेंट ऑफ ऑपरेशन ऑफ द कोर्ट, जो कि नॉर्मली हर लॉ का सेक्शन 1 यही होता है। 2 पनिशमेंट ऑफ ऑफेंसेस कमिटेड विद इन पाकिस्तान। 3 पनिशमेंट ऑफ ऑफेंसेस कमिटेड बियॉन्ड बट विच बाय लॉ मे बी ट्राइड विद इन पाकिस्तान। सेक्शन 4 है जी एक्सटेंशन ऑफ कोर्ट टू एक्स्ट्रा टेरिटोरियल ऑफेंसेस। सेक्शन 5 सर्टेन लॉज नॉट टू बी अफेक्टेड बाय दिस एक्ट। अब पहले चैप्टर में 1 से 5 तक सेक्शन हो गए। दूसरे चैप्टर में है जनरल एक्सप्लेनेशंस। Section 6 definitions in the code to be understood subject to exceptions. 7 sense of expression once explained. 8 gender. 9 number. 10 man woman. 11 person. 12 public. 13 omitted. 14 servant of the state. 15 repealed. 16 repealed. 17 government. 18 repealed. 19 judge. 20 court of justice. 21 public servant. 22 movable property. 23 wrongful gain. 24 dishonestly. 25 fraudulently. 26 reason to believe. 27 property in possession of wife, clerk or servant. 28 counterfeit. 29 document. 30 valuable security. 31 a will. 32 words referring to acts include illegal omissions. 33 act omission. 34 acts done by several persons in furtherance of common intention. 35 when such an act is criminal by reason of being done with a criminal knowledge or intention. 36 effect caused by partly by act and partly by omission. 37 cooperation by doing one of several acts constituting an offence. 38 persons concerned in criminal act may be guilty of different offences. 39 voluntarily. 40 offence. 41 special law. 42 local law. 43 illegal legally bound to do. 44 injury. 45 life. 46 death. 47 animal. 48 vessel. 49 year month. 50 section. 51 oath. 52 गुड फेथ. 52A हार्बर। अब पहले चैप्टर में 1 से लेकर 5 तक सेक्शन थे, दूसरे चैप्टर में 2 से लेकर 52A तक, और अब चैप्टर 3 स्टार्ट हो जाता है जी ऑफ पनिशमेंट का। पनिशमेंट में सबसे पहले 53 पनिशमेंट, इसमें पनिशमेंट की टाइप्स बताई गई हैं, वो हम डिटेल लेक्चर में देखेंगे। फिलहाल सिर्फ कंटेंट्स को डिस्कस करना है तो इसलिए इतना ही। 54 कम्यूटेशन ऑफ सेंटेंस ऑफ डेथ। कम्यूटेशन कहते हैं चेंज करने को, कि डेथ सेंटेंस किसी और सेंटेंस में चेंज करना। 55 कम्यूटेशन ऑफ सेंटेंस और इम्प्रिजमेंट फॉर लाइफ। 55A सेविंग फॉर प्रेसिडेंट्स प्रीरोगेटिव्स। 56 repealed. 57 fractions of terms of punishment. 58 omitted. 59 omitted। वैसे बहुत सारे लोगों को पता होगा रिपील्ड और ओमिटेड में क्या फ़र्क होता है। रिपील होता है ऐसा लॉ जो कि एक दफ़ा मतलब रिपील हो गया, यहाँ से प्रोविजन निकल गई, तो उसकी जगह पर कहीं और किसी और लॉ में वो चीज़ इंसर्ट कर दी जाती है। लेकिन जब लफ्ज़ ओमिटेड लिखा होता है तो ओमिटेड का मतलब होता है कि बिल्कुल ही सफाई हस्ती से मिटा देना, मतलब बिल्कुल उसको डिलीट कर देना के मीनिंग में आता है। 60 sentence may be in certain cases of imprisonment wholly or partly rigorous or simple. 61 62 repealed है। 63 amount of fine। 64 sentence of imprisonment for non payment of fine। 65 limit to imprisonment for non payment of fine when imprisonment and fine awardable। 1/4 होती है। 66 डिस्क्रिप्शन ऑफ इम्प्रिजमेंट फॉर नॉन पेमेंट ऑफ फाइन। 67 इम्प्रिजमेंट फॉर नॉन पेमेंट ऑफ फाइन व्हेन ऑफेंस पनिशेबल विद फाइन ओनली। 68 इम्प्रिजमेंट टू टर्मिनेट ऑन पेमेंट ऑफ फाइन। 69 टर्मिनेशन ऑफ इम्प्रिजमेंट ऑन पेमेंट ऑफ प्रोपोर्शनल पार्ट ऑफ फाइन। 70 fine leviable within 6 years or during imprisonment. Death not to discharge property from liability. 71 limit of punishment of offence made up of several offences. 72 punishment of persons guilty of one of several offences, the judgment stating that it is doubtful of which. 73 solitary confinement. 74 limit of solitary confinement. 75 enhanced punishment for certain offences under chapter 12 और चैप्टर 17 आफ्टर प्रीवियस कन्विक्शन। अब चैप्टर 3 में जी 53 से लेकर 75 तक सेक्शंस आते हैं। चैप्टर 4 स्टार्ट हो गया, आगे जनरल एक्सेप्शन। 76 एक्ट डन बाय अ पर्सन बाउंड और बाय मिस्टेक ऑफ फैक्ट बिलीविंग हिमसेल्फ बाउंड बाय लॉ। 77 एक्ट ऑफ जज व्हेन एक्टिंग जुडिशियली। 78 एक्ट डन pursuant to the judgment or order of the court। 79 act done by a person justified or by mistake of fact believing himself justified by law। 80 accident in doing a lawful act। 81 act likely to cause harm but done without criminal intent and to prevent other harm। 82 act of child under 7 years of age। 83 act of child above 7 and under 12 of immature understanding। 84 act of person of unsound mind। 85 act of a person incapable of judgment by reason of intoxication caused against his wills। 86 offense requiring a particular intent or knowledge committed by one who is intoxicated। 87 act not intended and not known to be likely to cause death or grievous hurt done by consent। 88 act not intended to cause death done by consent in good faith for person's benefit। 89 act done in good faith for benefit of a child or insane person by or by consent of guardian। provisos आगे इसके provisos भी हैं कुछ। 90 consent known to be given under fear or misconception। 91 exclusion of acts which are offences independently of harm caused। 92 act done in good faith or for benefit of a person without consent। 93 communication made in good faith। 94 act to which a person is compelled by threats। 95 act causing slight harm of the right of private defense। 96 things done in private defense। 97 right of private defense of the body and of property। 98 right of private defense against the act of a person of unsound mind। It is 99 acts against which there is no right of private defense extent to which the right may be exercised। 100 when the right of private defense of the body extend to causing death। 101 when such right extends to causing harm other than death। 102 commencement and continuance of the right of private defense of the body। 103 when the right of private defense of property extend to causing death। 104 when such right extend to causing any harm other than death। 105 commencement and continuance of the right of private defense of property। 106 right of private defense against deadly assault when there is risk of harm to innocent person। चैप्टर 5 है जी ऑफ अबैटमेंट। 107 चैप्टर 4 में 76 से 106 तक सेक्शन थे। अब चैप्टर 7 जो है 107 से 120 तक जाएगा। अबैटमेंट ऑफ अ थिंग। 108 अबैटर। 108 A abatement in Pakistan of offences outside it। 109 punishment of abetment if the act abated is committed in consequence and where no express provision is made for its punishment। 110 punishment of abatement if person abated does act with different intention from that of abater। 111 liability of abater when one act abated and different act done। 112 abater when liable to cumulative punishment for act abated and for act done। 113 liability of abater for an for an offense होगा caused by the act abated different from that intended by the abater। 114 abater present when offense is committed। 115 abatement of offense punishable with death or imprisonment for life if offense not committed if an act causing harm be done in consequence। 116 abatement of offense punishable with imprisonment if offense be not committed if abater or person abated be a public servant whose duty is to prevent offences। 117 abatement abetting commission of offence by the public or by more than 10 persons, concealing design to commit offence punishable with death or imprisonment for life. 118 if offence committed, if not offence not committed. 119 public servant concealing design to commit offence which it is his duty to prevent. If offence be committed, if offence be punishable with death, it is if offence be not committed. 120 concealing design to commit offence punishable with imprisonment if offence committed, if not committed तो मतलब अगर ऑफेंस होता है तो सज़ा कुछ और होती है और अगर नहीं होता तो सज़ा आधी हो जाती है, लेकिन होती ज़रूर है। चैप्टर 5A है जी, इंसर्ट किया गया क्रिमिनल कंस्पिरेसी। इसमें दो ही सेक्शन है, 120A और 120B। 120A डेफिनेशन ऑफ क्रिमिनल कंस्पिरेसी, 120B पनिशमेंट ऑफ क्रिमिनल कंस्पिरेसी। चैप्टर 6 ऑफ ऑफेंसेस अगेंस्ट द स्टेट। 121 वेजिंग और अटेम्प्टिंग टू वेज वार और वेटिंग वेजिंग ऑफ वार अगेंस्ट पाकिस्तान। 121A कंस्पिरेसी टू कमिट ऑफेंसेस पनिशेबल बाय सेक्शन 121। 122 कलेक्टिंग आर्म्स विद intention of waging war against Pakistan. 123 concealing with intent to facilitate design to wage war. 123A condemnation of the creation of the state and advocacy of abolition of its sovereignty. 123B defiling or unauthorizedly removing the national flag of Pakistan from government building etc. 124 assaulting president, governor etc. with intent to compel or restrain the exercise of any lawful power. 124A sedition. 125 waging war against any Asiatic power in alliance with Pakistan. 126 committing depredation on territories of power at peace with Pakistan. 127 receiving property taken by war or depredation mentioned in section 125 and 126. 128 public servant voluntarily allowing prisoner of state or war to escape. 129 public servant negligently suffering such prisoner to escape. 130 aiding escape of rescuing or harboring such prisoners. Chapter 7 of offences relating to the army, navy and air force. 131 abetting mutiny or attempting to seduce a soldier, sailor or airman from his duty. 132 abatement of mutiny if mutiny is committed in consequence thereof. 133 abatement of assault by soldier, sailor or airman on his superior officer when in execution of his office. 134 abatement of such assault if the assault is committed. 135 abatement of desertion of soldier, sailor or airman. 136 harboring deserter. 137 deserter concealed on board merchant vessel through negligence of master. 138 abatement of act of insubordination by soldier, sailor or airman. 138 a repealed. 139 person subject to certain acts. 140 wearing garb or carrying token by used by soldier, sailor or airman. अच्छा जी, 121 से 140 तक चैप्टर 7 हो गया। आगे है चैप्टर 8 ऑफ ऑफेंसेस अगेंस्ट द पब्लिक ट्रैंक्विलिटी। 141 अनलॉफुल असेंबली। 142 being member of unlawful assembly. 143 punishment. 144 joining unlawful assembly armed with deadly weapon. 145 joining or continuing in unlawful assembly knowing it has been commanded to disperse. 146 writing. 147 punishment for writing. 148 writing armed with deadly weapon. 149 every member of unlawful assembly guilty of offence committed in prosecution of a common object. 150 hiring or conniving at hiring of persons to join unlawful assembly. 151 knowingly joining or continuing in assembly of 5 or more persons after it has been commanded to disperse. 152 assaulting or obstructing public servant when suppressing riot etc. 153 want only giving provocation with intent to cause riot if rating, इसको कुछ लोग राइट भी कहते हैं और कुछ लोग रिएट कहते हैं, बी कमिटेड इफ नॉट कमिटेड. 153A promoting enmity between different groups etc. 153B inducing students etc. to take part in political activity. 154 owner or occupier of land on which an unlawful assembly is held. 155 liability of person for whose benefit riot is committed. 156 liability of agent of owner or occupier of for whose benefit riot is committed. 157 harboring persons hired for an unlawful assembly. 158 being hired to take part in unlawful assembly or riot or to go armed. 159 affray. 160 punishment for कमिटिंग अफ्रे। 141 से 160 तक चैप्टर 8 है। चैप्टर 9 आगे आ जाते हैं जी, ऑफ ऑफेंसेस बाय और रिलेटिंग टू पब्लिक सर्वेंट्स। 161 पब्लिक सर्वेंट टेकिंग ग्रेटिफिकेशन अदर देन लीगल रिम्यूनरेशन इन रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ एन ऑफिशियल एक्ट। 162 टेकिंग ग्रेटिफिकेशन इन ऑर्डर बाय corrupt or illegal means to influence public servant। 163 taking gratification for exercise of personal influence with public servant। 164 punishment for abatement by public servant of offences defined in section 162 or 163। 165 public servant obtaining valuable thing without consideration from person concerned in proceeding or business transacted by such public servant। 165a punishment for abatement of offences defined in section 161 and 165। 165b certain abatements accepted। 166 public servant disobeying law with intent to cause injury to any person। 167 public servant framing an incorrect document with intent to cause injury। 168 public servant unlawfully engaging in trade। 169 public servant unlawfully buying or bidding for property। 170 personating a public servant। 171 wearing garb or carrying token used by public servant with fraudulent intent। Chapter 9A of offences relating to elections। 171A candidates electoral right defined। 171B bribery। 171C undue influence at elections। 171D personation at election। 171E punishment for bribery। 171F punishment for undue influence or personation at an election। 171G false statement in connection with an election। 171H illegal payments in connection with an election। 171J failure to keep election accounts। 171J inducing any person not to participate in any election or referendum etc। Chapter 10 of contempts of the lawful authority of public servant। 172 absconding to avoid service of summons or other proceeding। 173 preventing service of summons or other proceeding or preventing publication thereof। 174 non-attendance in obedience to an order from public servant। 175 omission to produce document to public servant by person legally bound to produce it। 176 omission to give notice or information to public servant by person legally bound to give it। 177 furnishing false information। 178 refusing oath or affirmation when duly required by public servant to make it। 179 refusing to answer public servant authorized to question। 180 refusing to sign statement। 181 false statement on oath or affirmation to public servant or person authorized to administer an oath or affirmation। 182 false information with intent to cause public servant to use his lawful power to the injury of another person। 183 resistance to the taking of property by the lawful authority of a public servant। 184 obstructing sale of property offered for sale by authority of public servant। 185 illegal purchase or bid for property offered for sale by authority of public servant। 186 obstructing public servant in discharge of public functions। 187 omission to assist public servant when bound by law to give assistance। 188 disobedience to order duly promulgated by the public servant। 189 threat of injury to public servant। 190 threat of injury to induce person to refrain from applying for protection to public servant। चैप्टर 11 है जी ऑफ फॉल्स एविडेंस एंड ऑफेंसेस अगेंस्ट पब्लिक जस्टिस। 191 गिविंग फॉल्स एविडेंस। 192 फैब्रिकेटिंग फॉल्स एविडेंस। 193 पनिशमेंट फॉर फॉल्स एविडेंस। 194 गिविंग ऑन फैब्रिकेटिंग फॉल्स एविडेंस विद इंटेंट टू प्रोड्यूस procure conviction of capital offence if innocent person can be thereby convicted and executed। 195 giving or fabricating false evidence with intent to procure conviction of offence punishable with imprisonment for life or for a term which of 7 years or upwards। 196 using evidence known to be false। 197 issuing or signing false certificate। 198 using as true and a certificate known to be false। 199 false statement made in declaration which is by law receivable as evidence। 200 using as true such declaration knowing it to be false causing disappearance of evidence of offence or giving false information to screen offender। 201 if a capital offence if punishable with imprisonment for life if punishable with less than 10 years imprisonment। 202 intentional Omission to give information of offence by person bound to inform. 203. Giving false information respecting an offence committed. 204. Destruction of document to prevent its production as evidence. 205. False personation for purpose of act or proceeding in suit or prosecution. 206. Fraudulent removal or concealment of property to prevent its seizure as forfeited or in execution. 207. Fraudulent claim to property to prevent its seizure as forfeited in or in execution. 208. Fraudulently suffering decree for some not due. 209. Dishonestly making false claim in court. 210. Fraudulently obtaining decree for some not due. 211. False charge of offence made with intent to injure. 212. Harboring offender if a capital offence, if punishable with imprisonment for life or with imprisonment. 213. Taking gift etc to screen an offender from punishment if a capital offence, if punishable with imprisonment for life or with imprisonment. 214. Offering gift or restoration of property in consideration of screening offender if a capital offence, if punishable with imprisonment for life or with imprisonment. 215. Taking gift to help to recover stolen property etc. 216. Harboring offender who has escaped from custody or whose apprehension has been ordered if a capital offence, if punishable with imprisonment for life or with imprisonment. 216A for penalty for harboring robbers or dacoits. 216B omitted. 217 public servant disobeying direction of law with intent to save person from punishment or property from forfeiture. 218 public servant framing incorrect record or writing with intent to save person from punishment or property from forfeiture. 219 public servant in judicial proceeding corruptly making a report etc contrary to law. 220 commitment for trial of or confinement by person having authority who knows that he is acting contrary to law. 221 intentional omission to apprehend on the part of public servant bound to apprehend. 222 intentional omission to apprehend on the part of public servant bound to apprehend person under sentence or lawful committed. 223 escape from confinement or custody negligently suffered by public servant. 224 resistance or obstruction by a person to his lawful apprehension. 225 resistance or obstruction to lawful apprehension of another person. 225A omission to apprehend or sufferance of escape on part of public servant in case not otherwise provided for. 225B resistance or obstruction to lawful apprehension or escape or rescue in case not otherwise provided for. 226 omitted. 227 violation of condition of remission of punishment. 228 intentional insult or interruption to public servant sitting in judicial proceeding. 229 personation of a juror or assessor. Chapter 12 of offences relating to coin and government stamp. 230 coin defined Pakistan coin. 231 counterfeiting coin. 232 counterfeiting Pakistan coin. 233 making or selling instrument for counterfeiting coin. 234 making or selling instrument for counterfeiting Pakistan coin. 235 possession of instrument or material for the purpose of using the same for counterfeiting coin if Pakistan coin. 236 abetting in Pakistan the counterfeiting out of Pakistan of coin. 237 import or export of counterfeit coin. 238 import or export of counterfeit of Pakistan coin. 239 delivery of coin possessed with knowledge that it is counterfeit. 240 delivery of Pakistan coin possessed with knowledge that it is counterfeit. 241 delivery of coin as genuine which when first possessed the deliverer did not know to be counterfeit. 242 possession of counterfeit coin person who knew it to be counterfeit when he became possessed thereof. 243 possession of Pakistan coin by person who knew it to be counterfeit when he became possessed thereof. 244 person implied in causing to coin to be of different weight or composition from the that fixed by law. 245 unlawfully taking coining instrument from mint. 246 fraudulently or dishonestly diminishing weight or altering composition of coin. 247 fraudulently or dishonestly diminishing weight or altering composition of Pakistan coin. 248 altering appearance of coin with intent that it shall pass and as coin of different description. 249 altering appearance of Pakistan coin with intent that it shall pass as coin of different description. 250 delivery of coin possessed with knowledge that it is altered. 251 delivery of Pakistan coin possessed with knowledge that it is altered. 252 possession of coin by a person who knew it to be altered when he became possessed thereof. 253 possession of Pakistan coin by person who knew it to be altered when he became possessed thereof. 254 delivery of coin as genuine which first possessed the deliverer did not know to be altered. 255 counterfeiting government stamp. 256 having possession of instrument or material for counterfeiting government stamp. 257 making or selling instrument for counterfeiting government stamp. 258 sale of counterfeit government stamp. 259 having possession of counterfeit government stamp. 260 using as genuine a government stamp known to be counterfeit. 261 effacing writing from substance bearing government stamp or removing from document a stamp used for it with intent to cause loss to government. 262 using government stamp known to have been before used. 263 eraser of mark denoting and that stamp has been used. 263a prohibition of fictitious stamp. Chapter 13 of offences relating to weights and measures. 264 fraudulent use of false instrument for weighing. 265 fraudulent use of false weight or measure. 266 being in possession of false weight or measure. 267 making or selling false weight or measure. Chapter 14 of offences affecting the public health, safety, convenience, decency, and morals. 268 public nuisance. 269 negligent act likely to spread infection or disease dangerous to life. 270 malignant act likely to spread infection of disease dangerous to life. 271 disobedience to quarantine rule. 272 adulteration of food or drink intended for sale. 273 sale of noxious food or drink. 274 adulteration of drugs. 275 sale of adulterated drugs. 276 sale of drugs as different drug or preparation. 277 falling water of public spring or reservoir. 278 making atmosphere noxious to health. 279 rash driving or riding on a public way. 280 rash navigation of vessel. 281 exhibition of false light mark or buoy. 282 convening person by water for hire in safe or overloaded vessel. 283 danger or obstruction in public way or line of navigation. 284 negligent conduct with respect to poisonous substance. 285 negligent conduct with respect to fire or combustible matter. 286 and negligent conduct with respect to explosive substance. 287 negligent conduct with respect to machinery. 288 negligent conduct with respect to pulling down or repairing buildings. 289 negligent conduct with respect to animal. 290 punishment for public nuisance in cases not otherwise provided for. 291 continuance of nuisance after injunction to discontinue. 292 sale etc of obscene books etc. 292a exposure or to sedition. 292b child pornography. 292c punishment for child pornography. 293 sale etc of obscene objects to young person. 294 obscene acts and songs. 294a keeping lottery office. 294b offering of prize in connection with trade etc. Chapter 15 of offences relating to religion. 295 injuring or defiling place of worship with intent to insult the religion of any class. 295 a deliberate and malicious and acts intended to outrage religious feelings of any class by insulting its religion or religious beliefs. 295 b defiling it is of a copy of Holy Quran. 295 c use of derogatory remarks it is in respect of the Holy Prophet. 296 disturbing religious assembly. 297 trespassing on burial places, etc. 298 uttering words, etc. with deliberate intent to wound religious feelings. 298 a use of derogatory marks, etc. in respect of holy personage. 298 b misuse of epithets, descriptions and titles, etc. reserved for certain holy personage or places. 298 c person of Qadiani group, etc. calling himself a Muslim or preaching or propagating his faith. 299 definition. 300 Katleam. 301 causing death of person other than the person whose death was intended. 302 punishment of Katleam. 303 Qatl committed under Ikra Tam or Ikra Nakis. 304 proof of Katleam liable to Qisas, etc. 305 Wali. 306 Katleam not liable to Qisas. 307 cases in which Qisas for Katleam shall not be enforced. 308 punishment in Katleam not liable to Qisas, etc. 309 waiver of Qisas in Katleam. 310 compounding of Qisas Sulah in Katleam. 310a punishment for giving a female in marriage or otherwise in badli sulah bani or sawara. 311 tazir after waiver or compounding of right of qisas in qatl amd. 312 qatl amd after waiver or compounding of qisas. 313 right of qisas in qatl amd. 314 execution of qisas in qatl amd. 315 qatl shabi amd. 316 punishment for qatl shabi amd. 317 person committing qatl debarred from succession. 318 qatl khatab. 319 punishment for qatl khatab. 320 punishment for qatl khatab by rash or negligent driving. 321 qatl with sabab. 322 punishment for qatl with sabab. 323 value of deer. 324 attempt to commit qatl am. 325 attempt to commit suicide. 326 thug. 327 punishment. 328 exposure and abandonment of child under 12 years by parent or person having care of it. 328 a cruelty to child. 329 concealment of birth by secret disposal of dead body. 330 disbursement of diyat. 331 payment of diyat. 332 heart. 333 इतलाफ़ उज़्व. 334 punishment for इतलाफ़ उज़्व. 335 इतलाफ़ सलाहियत उज़्व. 336 punishment for इतलाफ़ सलाहियत उज़्व. 336 a heart caused by corrosive substance. 336 b punishment for heart by corrosive substance. 337 shajja. 337 a punishment of shajja. 337 b jar. 337 c jaifa. 337 d punishment for jaifa. 337 e gair jaifa. 337 f punishment for gair jaifa. 337 g punishment for hurt by rash or negligent driving. 337 h punishment for hurt by rash or negligent act. 337 I punishment for causing hurt by mistake khata. 337 j causing hurt by means of poison. 337 k causing hurt to extort confession or to compel restoration of property. 337 l punishment for other hurt. 337 m hurt not liable to qisas. 337 n cases in which qisas for hurt shall not be enforced. 337 o wali in case of hurt. 337 p execution of qisas for hurt. 337 q urge for single organs. 337 r urge for organs in pairs. 337 s urge for organs in quadruplicate. 337 t urge for fingers. 337 u urge for teeth. 337 v urge for hair. 337 w merger of urge. 337 x punishment of urge. Payment of arsh. 337 by value of daman. 337 z disbursement of arsh or daman. 338 iskate hamal. 338 a punishment for iskate hamal. 338 b iskate janan. 338 c punishment for istakate janan. 338 d confirmation of sentence of death by way of qisas or tazir. It is 338 e waiver or compounding offense. 338 f interpretation. 338 g rules. 338 h saving. Chapter 16 A of wrongful restraint and wrongful confinement. 339 wrongful restraint. 340 wrongful confinement. 341 punishment for wrongfully restraint. 342 punishment for wrongful confinement. 343 wrongful confinement for 3 or more days. 344 wrongful confinement for 10 or more days. 345 wrongful confinement of persons for whose liberation writ has been issued. 346 wrongful confinement in secret. 347 wrongful confinement to extort property or constrain it to illegal act. 348 wrongful confinement to extort confession or compel restoration of property of criminal force and assault. 349 force. 350 criminal force. 351 assault. 352 punishment for assault to criminal force otherwise than one grave provocation. 353 assault or criminal force to deter public servant from discharge of his duty. 354 assault or criminal force to women with intent to outrage her modesty. 354a assault or use of criminal force to woman and stripping her of her clothes. 355 assault or criminal force with intent to dishonor person otherwise than on grave provocation. 356 assault or criminal force in attempt to commit theft of property carried by a person. 357 assault or criminal force in attempt wrongfully to confine a person. 358 assault or 358 assault or criminal force on grave provocation of kidnapping, abduction, slavery, and forced labor. 359 kidnapping. 360 kidnapping from Pakistan. 361 kidnapping from lawful guardianship. 362 abduction. 363 punishment for kidnapping. 364 kidnapping or abducting in order to murder. 364a kidnapping or abducting a person under the age of 14. 365 kidnapping or abducting with intent secretly and wrongfully to confine person. 365a kidnapping or abducting for extorting property, valuable security, etc. 365b kidnapping, abducting, or inducing women to compel for marriage, etc. 366 repeal. 366a procuration of a minor girl. 366b importation of girl from foreign country. 367 kidnapping or abducting in order to subject person to grievous hurt, slavery, etc. 368 wrongfully concealing or keeping in confinement, kidnapping or abducted person. 369 kidnapping or abducting child under 7 years with intent to steal from its persons. 369 a trafficking of human beings. 370 buying or disposing of any person as a slave. 371 habitual dealing in slaves. 371 a selling of persons for proper purpose of prostitution, etc. 371 b buying selling person for purpose of prostitution, etc. 372 373 repealed. 374 unlawful compulsory labor of rape. 375 rape. 376 punishment of rape of unnatural lust. 377 unnatural offences. 377 a sexual abuse. 377 b punishment. Chapter 17 of offences against property of theft. 378 theft. 379 punishment for theft. 380 theft in dwelling house, etc. 381 theft by clerk or servant of property in possession of master. 381 a theft of a car or other motor vehicle. 382 theft after preparation made for causing death, hurt, or restraint in order to the committing for of theft. 383 extortion. 384 punishment for extortion. 385 putting person in fear of injury in order to commit extortion. 386 extortion by putting person in fear of death or grievous hurt. 387 putting person in fear of death or grievous hurt in order to commit extortion. 388 extortion by threat of accusation of an offence punishable with death or imprisonment for life, etc. 389 putting person in fear of accusation of offence in order to commit extortion of robbery and deceit. 390 robbery when of theft is robbery, when extortion is robbery. 391 deceit. 392 punishment for robbery. 393 attempt to commit robbery. 394 voluntarily causing hurt in committing robbery. 395 punishment for deceit. 396 deceit with murder. 397 robbery or deceit with attempt to cause hurt or grievous hurt. 398 attempt to commit robbery or deceit when armed with deadly weapon. 399 making preparation to commit deceit. 400 punishment for belonging to gang of dacoits. 401 punishment for belonging to gang of thieves. 402 assembling for purpose of committing duty of hijacking. 402A hijacking. 402B punishment for hijacking. 402C punishment for harboring hijacker etc. 402D provincial government not to interfere in sentence of rape of criminal misappropriation of property. 403 dishonest misappropriation of property. 404 dishonest misappropriation of property possessed by deceased person at the time of his death of criminal breach of trust. 405 criminal breach of trust. 406 punishment for criminal breach of trust. 407 criminal breach of trust by carrier for etc. 408 criminal breach of trust by clerk or servant. 409 criminal breach of trust by public servant or by banker, merchant or agent of the receiving of stolen property. 410 stolen property. 411 dishonestly receiving stolen property. 412 dishonestly receiving stolen property stolen in the commission of duty. 413 habitually dealing in stolen property. 414 assisting in concealment of stolen property of cheating. 415 cheating. 416 cheating by personation. 417 punishment for cheating. 418 cheating with knowledge that wrongful loss may ensue to person whose interest offender is bound to protect. 419 punishment for cheating by personation. 420 cheating and dishonestly inducing delivery of property of fraudulent deeds and disposition of property. 421 dishonest or fraudulent removal or concealment of property to prevent distribution among creditors. 422 dishonestly or fraudulently preventing debt being available for creditors. 423 dishonest or fraudulent execution of deed of transfer containing false statement of consideration. 424 dishonest or fraudulent removal or concealment of property of mischief. 425 mischief. 426 mischief punishment for mischief. 427 mischief causing damage to the amount of 50 rupees. 428 mischief by killing or maiming animal for the value of the value of 10 rupees. 429 mischief by killing or maiming cattle etc of any value or any animal of the value of 50 rupees. 430 mischief by injury to works of irrigation by or wrongfully diverting water. 431 mischief by injury to public road, bridge, river or channel. 432 mischief by causing inundation or obstruction to public drainage and attended with damage. 433 mischief by destroying, removing or rendering less useful a lighthouse or sea mark. 434 mischief by destroying or moving etc a landmark fixed by public authority. 435 mischief by fire or explosive substance with intent to cause damage to amount of 100 or in case of agricultural produce 10 rupees. 436 mischief by fire or explosive substance with intent to destroy house etc. 437 mischief with intent to destroy or make unsafe a decked vessel or one of 20 tons burden. वैसे मेरे हिसाब से ये सारे सेक्शंस इस पीपीसी के ऊपर बर्डन है, एक ही सेक्शन में ये सारी बात कवर हो सकती थी। खैर अभी भी इसको अमेंड किया जा सकता है, लेकिन पता नहीं क्यों नहीं करता, इतना बड़ा बोझ डाला हुआ है पीपीसी के ऊपर और पढ़ने वालों पे भी। अच्छा जी, 438 पनिशमेंट फॉर द मिसचीफ डिस्क्राइब्ड इन सेक्शन 437 कमिटेड बाय फायर और एक्सप्लोसिव सब्सटेंस। 439 पनिशमेंट फॉर इंटेंशनली रनिंग vessel ground or ashore with intent to commit theft etc. 440 mischief committed after preparation made causing death or hurt of criminal trespass। ये भी सारे के सारे फजूल सेक्शन से मुराद मतलब क्रिमिनल ट्रेसपास को एक ये सारी चीज़ें हाउस ट्रेसपास, लर्किंग हाउस ट्रेसपास एक ही डेफिनेशन में डिस्क्राइब की जा सकती थी और उसके बाद पनिशमेंट भी मतलब यहाँ से लेकर यहाँ तक इसकी पनिशमेंट दी जा सकती है। एक ही सेक्शन ये ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा 2 सेक्शन में ये बात कवर हो सकती थी, इतने सारे सेक्शन का बोझ डाला हुआ। 441 है जी क्रिमिनल ट्रेसपास, लेकिन वो हम लकीर के फकीर है ना कि पार्लियामेंट कैन नॉट डू नो रॉन्ग, तो क्या कह सकते हैं। 441 है जी क्रिमिनल ट्रेसपास। 442 हाउस ट्रेसपास। 443 लर्किंग हाउस ट्रेसपास। 444 लर्किंग हाउस ट्रेसपास बाय नाइट। 445 हाउस ब्रेकिंग। 446 हाउस ब्रेकिंग बाय नाइट। 447 punishment for criminal trespass। 448 punishment for house trespass। 449 house trespass in order to commit offence punishable with death। 450 house trespass in order to commit offence punishable with imprisonment for life. 451 house trespass in order to commit offence punishable with imprisonment. 452 house trespass after preparation for hurt, assault or wrongful restraint. 453 punishment for lurking house trespass or housebreaking. 454 lurking house trespass or housebreaking in order to commit offence punishable with imprisonment. 455 lurking house trespass or housebreaking after preparation for hurt, assault or wrongful restraint. 456 punishment for lurking house trespass or housebreaking by night. 457 lurking house trespass or housebreaking by night in order to commit offence punishable with imprisonment. 458 lurking house trespass or housebreaking by night after preparation for hurt, assault or wrongful restraint. 459 grievous hurt caused whilst committing lurking house trespass or housebreaking. 460 all persons jointly concerned in lurking house trespass or housebreaking by night punishable where death or grievous hurt caused by one of them. 461 dishonestly breaking open receptacle containing property. 462 punishment for same offence when committed by person entrusted with custody. Chapter 17A Hedge of offences relating to oil and gas etc. 462 definition. 462b tampering with petroleum pipes etc. 462c tampering with auxiliary or distribution pipelines of petroleum. 462d tampering with gas meter by domestic consumer etc. 462e tampering with gas meter by industrial or commercial consumer etc. 462f damaging or destructing the transmission or transportation lines etc. Chapter 17b of offences relating to electricity. 462g definitions. 462h abstraction or tampering etc. with transmission. 462l abstraction or tampering with etc. with distribution or auxiliary. 462j interference, improper use or tampering with electric meter by domestic consumer etc. 462k interference, improper use of tampering with electric meter by industrial or commercial etc. 462l interference, improper use or tampering with electrical meter by agriculture consumer etc. to 462 damaging or destroying destructing the transmission lines, distribution lines electric meter etc. 462 and recovery of outstanding amounts from persons involved in section 462 14 to 462m offences. 462 कॉग्निजेंस 462 ओवरराइडिंग इफेक्ट. अब ये इंसर्ट किया है इन्होंने बाद में, हालांकि ये भी 2 से 3 सेक्शन में, ये ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा 4 सेक्शन में ये सारा कवर हो सकता था. खैर, चैप्टर 18 ऑफ ऑफेंसेस रिलेटिंग टू डॉक्यूमेंट्स एंड टू ट्रेड or property marks. 463 forgery. 464 making a false document. 465 punishment for forgery. 466 forgery of record of code of public register etc. 467 forgery for valuable security will etc. 468 forgery for purpose of cheating. 469 forgery for purpose of harming reputation. 470 forged document. 471 using as genuine a forged document. 472 making or possessing counterfeit seal etc. with intent to commit forgery punishable under section 467. 473 making or possessing counterfeit seal etc. with intent to commit forgery punishable otherwise. 474 having possession of document described in section 466 to 467 or knowing it to be forged and intending to use it as genuine. 475 counterfeiting device or mark used for authenticating documents described in section 467 or possessing counterfeit marked material. 476 counterfeiting device or mark used for authenticating documents other than those described in section 467 or possessing counterfeit marked material. 477 fraudulent cancellation, destruction etc. or will authority to adopt or valuable security. 477a falsification of accounts of trade property and other marks. 478 trademark. 479 property mark. 480 using a false trademark. 481 using a false property mark. 482 punishment for using a false trademark or property mark. 483 counterfeiting a trademark or property mark used by another. 484 counterfeiting a mark used by public servant. 485 making or possession of any instrument for counterfeiting a trademark or property mark. 486 selling goods marked with a counterfeit trademark or property mark. 487 making a false mark upon a receptacle containing goods. 488 punishment for making use of any such false mark. 489 tampering with property mark with intent to cause injury of currency notes and bank notes. अब ये फजूल में ये ऐड किया, वो जो काउंटर फिटिंग कोइंस वाला उसमें करेंसी नोट ऐड किए जा सकते थे एक ही सेक्शन में बस। खैर 489A काउंटर फिटिंग कोइंस करेंसी नोट्स और बैंक नोट्स। 489B यूजिंग अ जेन्युइन फोर्ज्ड और काउंटर फिट करेंसी नोट्स और बैंक नोट्स। 489C possession of forged or counterfeit currency notes or bank notes. 489D making or possession instruments or materials for forging or counterfeiting currency notes or banknotes. 489E making or using documents resembling currency notes or banknotes. 489F dishonestly issuing a check. 489G counterfeiting or using documents resembling prize bonds or unauthorized sale thereof. Chapter 19 of the criminal breach of contracts of service. 490 repealed. 491 breach of contract to attend on supply and on and supply bonds of helpless person. 492 रिपील्ड। ये कौसे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट से रिलेट करता है ये 491 सेक्शन जो है आपका। चैप्टर 22 ऑफ ऑफेंसेस रिलेटिंग टू मैरिज। 493 रिपील्ड। 493A कोहेबिएशन काज्ड बाय अ मैन डिसीटफुली इंड्यूसिंग अ बिलीफ of lawful marriage. 494 marrying again during lifetime of husband or wife. 495 same offense with the concealment of former marriage from person with whom subsequent marriage is contracted. 496 marriage ceremony fraudulently gone through without lawful marriage. 496 enticing or taking away or draining with criminal intent a woman. 496B fornication. 496C punishment for false accusation of fornication. 497 498 repealed. Chapter 22A of offences against women. 498A prohibition of depriving women from inheriting property. 498B prohibition of forced marriage. 498C prohibition of marriage it with Holy Quran. Chapter 21 of defamation. 499 defamation. 500 punishment for defamation. 501 printing or engraving matter known to be defamatory. 502 sale of printed or engraved substance containing defamatory matter. 502A trial of offences under this chapter. Chapter 22 of criminal intention, insult and annoyance. 503 criminal intimidation. 504 intention insult with intent to provoke breach of the peace. 505 statement conducting to public mischief. 506 punishment for criminal intimidation if threat to be caused death or grievous hurt etc. 507 criminal intimidation by any anonymous communication. 508 act caused by inducing person to believe that he will be rendered an object of the divine displeasure. 509 insulting modesty or causing sexual harassment. 510 misconduct in public by a ड्रंकन पर्सन मतलब जिसने शराब पिया हो, इसमें सबसे कम पनिशमेंट 510 में दी गई है। चैप्टर 23 ऑफ अटेम्प्ट टू कमिट ऑफेंसेस आखिरी सेक्शन है जी 511 पनिशमेंट फॉर अटेम्प्टिंग टू कमिट ऑफेंस पनिशेबल विद इम्प्रिजमेंट फॉर लाइफ और फॉर अ शॉर्टर टर्म। अटैम्प्ट की जो है वो आधी सज़ा हो जाती है जितनी जो आगे पाकिस्तान पिनल कोड है, इसको मैंने स्टार्ट किया है शॉर्ट लेक्चर्स इसके और मज़ीद कंटिन्यू उसको रखूँगी इंशाल्लाह। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर लिसनिंग। अल्लाह हाफिज़।